Hello and welcome to another episode of Around the Verse. I'm Eric Kyron Davis.
And I'm Dave Haddock.
In today's update, we're heading back to Area 18 to shed some light on some local culinary favorites and getting a look at Drake Interplanetary's latest. But first, we're delving into the exciting world of drug dealing.
Guess so.
Yeah.
Sombra Multigaming is back with an event that pits two clandestine organizations, the Duners and the Yellow Mist, against each other in a battle to establish smuggling convoys from Jumptown to Levski.
Sombra Multigaming has been moving a lot of weight already this year.
They certainly have.
All right, sticking with the community, we launched a contest last weekend in observation of St. Patrick's Day and in-law holiday Stella Fortuna.
We asked for party pictures and then immediately regretted it.
You people certainly get down in creative ways. Yeah, shame, huh? Enjoyable and shameful. All right. Congratulations to the lucky winners. You can check out those shots and all the entries over on Spectrum.
True, but be warned, there are some things you can't unsee. Moving on to development, tomorrow marks the unveiling of a new ship from Drake Interplanetary, the exploration-focused Corsair.
The idea for this ship was actually first explored on Reverse the Verse back in 2017. Backers named the ship live on air.
Okay, so let's see who won our name. Oh, that was a runaway, the Corsair.
Yeah.
The Drake Corsair.
Let's go to Corentin Billemont and Paul Jones for more on Drake's answer to the constellation.
Corsair is Drake's new exploration ship. It's a competitor to the RSI Constellation.
It's a really specific look. It's a new look of ships that we really didn't do until now.
The type of person that this will appeal to, I imagine that this will be a band of merry men or girls or both. You know, you're off out through the stars and you want to be able to look after yourself. You know, you can see the sort of Drake DNA. We've used Jim Martin for this ship, so between him and me and one of our other guys, we brought this ship into sort of an interesting shape. And also, you know, it's sort of got, for me, it's quite an iconic feel, especially when it's landed. You know, it does have a very small nod to sort of World War II Corsair planes where the wings fold up.
In terms of layout, some people didn't really like the layout of the Constellation, so it has a different interior layout. Instead of having one big lift, it's basically a ramp at the rear. So if you need to make your rover get inside, it's through the ramp. Same thing for the cargo will be there. So it's like the Constellation, you can't put the rover on the cargo at the same time. It's basically you have to make a choice. After that, basically you got a big component room, so most of the components will be there. After that you got crew quarters, so the usual, which is individual rooms. You got kitchen, bathroom, this kind of stuff. And then you got something a bit different from usual, which is side turrets. So people that got a Hammerhead know how it works. It's basically you enter, you get into the turret turns around. You can shoot on the side. Whereas for this kind of ship, usually we have top on bottom turrets. It's not the case here, it's really side turrets. And after that, then you got cockpit, which is a bit different from usual. You have a room for the pilot, which is in the cockpit. And then we got a really unique seat configuration that hasn't been used in any ship yet. So basically, you got the pilot and the co-pilot that are above each other. So you got two seats like this, and basically one will go under it. So this is a bit particular because we got like a lot of glass at the front. And basically, for this kind of ship, we often had discussions about and feedback about how players can't really see where they are landing or this kind of stuff. So this is different. We got someone that can really see up above, and we got someone that can really see down below as well.
So this is going to be a really good ship for fans because, you know, it's got a really interesting shape, classic Drake lines, asymmetrical, holds a rover in the back with some cargo, guns on the left and right, guns on the front, guns on the wings. I mean, this thing is like a mini battleship.
Thanks, guys. For even more on the Corsair, tune in to a new episode of Reverse the Verse tomorrow at noon Pacific.
Yep, Paul Jones and John Crew will actually be stopping by with more info about Drake's latest.
Awesome. Last week, we got detailed looks at the plaza of ArcCorp's main landing zone, Area 18.
This week, we continue our exploration of the location's development with senior lighting artist Arthur Yang.
I've been working on the environment lighting and hologram lighting for Area 18 Plaza, and this is what we have from the start when there's no signs and efforts in. As we processed, we finally got these beautiful signs and holograms. Okay, so now it's time for the lighting. The way I did it is starting from the face, the main light source to the whole area. The hologram itself, it's having two color tones, like the top part is bluish color and the bottom part is the purple color. And for the bottom part, I was using this shadow casting light. It's facing towards the tunnel itself. So apart from that, I also have two lights which are purple, and the purpose I added them is because I want to give some dynamic feeling. So I think it's good to have some blinking lights working with the splashes. I think it's pretty interesting. And for the can itself, I just created several plain lights. So I think this is looking good. My next step was to adding more colors to the scene, like the background is pretty empty right now. So I was trying to bring in like the warmish color to the background. The top building part is orange and the bottom part is purple, and the purple is also coming from that hologram light. And also I have this bunch of holograms, and they are just red and yellow and orange color. And it's filling the background, and it's doing a good job to separate the foreground and the background because the foreground is a cool color tone. So I think it's time to bring in the fog. The fog helps a lot with the atmosphere. And the last thing I want to do is bring in some reflections on the floor. So I added puddles on the floor so you can clearly see the reflections from the object and from the adverts itself. So this is all the elements coming together, the fog, the lighting, the hologram itself. It's giving a very nice layering for the scene. So yeah, I'm pretty happy about what I have right now.
As we've seen, bringing Area 18 to life is a huge collaborative effort.
Multiple teams are working in concert to create the immensely detailed environments, and a lot of these details come down to the props team.
From the plaza to the back alleys, here's Jake Taylor with more on some of the culinary flavors you'll find on the streets of Area 18.
Recently, I've been working on making the props for the kiosks that are going to be added to ArcCorp to try and breathe in a bit more life into the environment. Right off the bat, we were given these concepts here, and then my job was to instantly try and split them up and then think of what kind of assets these are going to be made out of, and then looking at real life reference and combining those two. Then I went to the modeling. So we have a base that's very different from the concepts, as you can see, and that's because we want to future-proof everything so they're already there, ready to go. So we have four main aspects to each of the assets. We have the base, we have the roof, and then we have the dressings for both of those pieces, and they can all be swapped out to create different variety among a smaller amount of assets, just to get them further along. And if we jump into the editor, you can kind of see all them being brought together. So for this one, we have the noodle stand. I think with the atmosphere of this one, we wanted to create it a bit more like warming and glowing, because a lot of Japanese and Chinese kind of noodle stands, they feel a lot more enclosed. Trying to get these kind of assets that kind of hang over and breathe this kind of warm light and this kind of jury-rigged thing here. And we've also got hot dog stands, which they have their own kind of different light themselves. We have these menus that are on LED screens and a much more kind of Americanized advertising, I suppose. And then maybe little funny references in the specials menu as well. And we also have pizza stands. So with this one, we actually have a hologram sign, which I think will look a little bit better on hot dog one, but it doesn't stop this from being used elsewhere as well. And we also have a burrito stand that is not quite to these quality yet, but it's getting there. What's left to do though is just some of the technical stuff, the LODs, a little bit more of the boring stuff, adding some more details. So you can see on this one, it has kind of dirt on the side here and actual food displayed, when this one has yet to go through that pass. This one has the food, but not quite as much as the dirt. But yeah, I think it's going to breathe a lot of kind of life into the environment, and it's going to make with all the NPCs and the players that walk about, it's going to help complement them make it feel like a lot more lived-in place. I think it looks good. I think it does what we need, what we hoped.
There's going to be no shortage of cool stuff to discover throughout the districts of Area 18 when Alpha 3.5 is released.
That's true. And speaking of 3.5 release, we have some news on the 300 series from Origin. Now, the 300i base model will be released on 3.5, and the variants aren't technically set up just yet, so those are going to come out just after the release of 3.5, along with some customization updates.
Okay, so what does that mean for the people who have variants currently?
350 and stuff? Well, a great question, Dave. So what we're planning to do is all 300i owners will get that chip, and then that will also be the loaner chip for all the variant owners until we release the variants.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, that does it for us. Thanks to the subscribers for sponsoring all of this video content.
And thanks to all the backers for continuing to support development.
Until next time, we'll see you
Around the verse.
Thanks for watching. For the latest and greatest in Star Citizen and Squadron 42, you can subscribe to our channel, or you can check out some of the other shows, and you can also head to our website at www.robertspaceindustries.com. Thank you very much for watching.